Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, a show dedicated to helping you expand your capacity, take your life in every area to an entirely new level, and creating a day and a life by design. Here's your host, Dan Hafner. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner here, the founder of RunWage and creator of this podcast. Today's topic is this: pay now or pay later? As always, appreciate you guys joining. Enjoy this episode. All right, my friends. So, yes, another moving story. Aren't you guys getting sick of these yet? Hey, what can I say? This is what's going on in my life, and these are the things that are happening, and these are the things I'm learning from, and this is my material right now. But this was interesting. So we rented a U-Haul, right? I do have to get something legal out of the way. I don't have anything against U-Haul. They're not a sponsor. They're not whatever. They have no affiliation with the show. Okay, that's out of the way. So anyway, we got this bigger truck, right? And due to the pandemic stuff, they're encouraging all online pickups and check-ins and whatever stuff. So I'm like, okay. So I click on the little thing and I go to the page, and I just go through and I put my information in, take a picture of my license, do whatever I got to do. And towards the end, they have this little thing that says you can pay now or pay later. They give you your charges, like what it costs, the furniture rentals, I think it's just like a one-way trip cost that you pay or whatever it is. Plus you have to pay for the gas, you know what I mean? So, but that's all on your own. So basically towards the end, they have this button that says pay now or pay later. Well, we opted to pay later, so we could pay like after we pick it up and once it's all there and done. And, that's what I decided to do. I'm like, okay, let's just pay later. No big deal, right? So as I'm sitting there looking at that, I'm just reminded of this concept of paying now versus paying later. And I think if you guys know where I'm going with this, you can you probably anticipate it, but it just kind of slapped me in the face. I was like, wow, there's a lot of things that we have the option to pay now for or pay later, right? I can think of this directly inside of your body, right? For fitness, you either pay for physical health and fitness and a good diet now by doing the things you should be doing, like working out, walking, running, going to the gym, eating healthy, not eating a ton of sweets, all that stuff, which is a price you pay, right? Like that's something that you have to do. Those are consistent actions. That's a price that you pay. Or you can pay for that later, meaning a cost, meaning you could get diabetes, meaning you can get really out of shape, meaning you can look at yourself in the mirror in 4 years and be like, what in the hell happened to me? Right? I've been on both ends of the spectrum, being an athlete, playing football and getting older and being retired from that. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum where I'm like, okay, I'm paying for this now. I'm doing it. I'm running. I'm getting in shape, going to the gym, lifting weights. And then I've also been in that situation where I've looked at myself in the mirror and been like, oh my God, like a few years ago, I gained like 30 pounds. And I was like, what in the hell is going on? Right? You can think about this inside of a relationship. Are you paying now? Are you doing the deposits? Are you, being a good spouse, a good daughter, a good son, a good whatever insert your relationship here, right? Or are you going to pay for that later in terms of a bad relationship with that person, or a bad friendship, or just something that isn't desirable, right? Because I think there's this crazy trade-off that happens in our minds with all this, right? Like we think, I don't really want to pay for this now because I have other important things to do. Like I have other things that are occupying my time, my money, my resources, whatever. So I don't want to do this right now. I'll pay for it later, just kind of like I did, right? The difference between my situation is whether I pay now or whether I pay later in terms of this truck rental, it's the same exact amount of money no matter what. But often in life, when you have the choice to pay now or pay later, the price of paying now is almost always less than the price of paying later. I'm going to say that again for you because this is today's lesson, right? The price of paying now is almost always less than the price of paying later, right? You're going to pay for this shit one way or another. And if you're willing to do the things up front, you're willing to invest the time, invest the energy, invest the resources, invest the mental capacity or whatever it is that you're investing into, that you're paying for in one way or another. It doesn't have to be monetarily, right? It's going to ultimately cost you less to do it now, today, right this minute, than it is later today or later this week or next year. You know, when you think about debts, right, you think, okay, you know, I could pay off this, you know, say you have a house debt or a car debt, or, you know, you have a $5,000 car debt right now. Be like, well, I could pay this all off with my income tax return or something. I get, you know, $5,000, $6,000, or I can keep paying the monthly payments on the car and end up paying $8,000 back eventually, or $7,000, or whatever the interest rate would be, right? So yeah, it's a lot to pay up front. It might not be comfortable to pay that up front, but it monetarily costs less to do it now. It costs less to go for a walk today. It costs less to go to the gym today. It costs less to give your spouse a text of love and appreciation today. It costs less to study something inside of your career or business than it does to learn it the hard way by losing out on a job or a client or anything like that. So yeah, there's a big price to pay today for maintaining the things you want to do, where you are, what you want. There's a price to pay. But it almost always is less than the price of tomorrow. All right, my friends. So that's all I have for you today. A little bit of a shorter episode here. But yeah, I hope you guys are liking these moving analogies and lessons that I'm getting throughout all of this process. And I'm sure there's going to be more to come because we got a couple more days of this stuff. Oh, my friends, this is one of the biggest personal development things you can ever go through. It's fun and it's stressful and it's overwhelming and it's beautiful and it's ugly all at the same time. So, all right, my friends, that is all I have for you today. Head over to runyourdaypodcast.com for more. Subscribe to the show, please, on Apple or Spotify so you can get notified of the latest episode drops. And that's all, my friends. Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day. Hey, have you ever thought about joining a virtual run challenge? As COVID-19 continues to upend our lives and change our life routines, finding fresh ways to challenge yourself physically can be difficult. I know I'm having trouble with that. It can also be pretty hard to connect with others and find accountability partners for the purpose of fitness as well. That's why we created RunWage Virtual Challenges. RunWage Challenges are a new and exciting way to stay physically active and maintain social distancing. Every challenge takes place 100% online, and you can compete against and engage with runners from all over the world. Best of all, they are the only virtual challenges out there which actually reward participants with real cash. That means you have no excuse for staying inactive during this pandemic. So if you've been looking for a fresh and interesting way to stay active and get your miles in, go to runwageapp.com/virtual challenges to join me and the diverse community of runners already competing. That's runwageapp.com/virtual challenges. Can't wait to see you there.